This week I'm going to be talking you through some of the things I learned while shooting my short film in the summer. Hello, my name is Simon Cade and this is DSLRguide. So I've had a couple of emails from you guys asking me about my short film, and towards the end of the video I'm going to be updating you on where we're at with that. But I just wanted to take some time to talk about the things that I learned, because I find that whenever I do a narrative film, it really accelerates the learning curve. So when I did my first short film, I found that I really just learned tons of stuff, and it's kind of every single time I do it I find that I just learn loads and loads of things. So I just wanted to share some of those things with you guys. So one of the main things that was new to me was directing actors. Now, while I've done this before, I haven't really done so much of the storyline, the dialogue kind of things, and that's what this film was kind of trying to focus on a little bit. So directing actors was something which was, in a way new to me. So we had quite a lot of relatively tough acting scenes to do, and of course my friends from school are not professional actors. Some of them do drama, GCSE, but we're really talking about amateurs here. So as the director, it was my job to try and get the best performance out of them possible. And that's something which, it's hard to practice. I'd kind of read a couple of things about it, but I wasn't really sure how it was going to go. So after doing, a couple of shoots over the summer, I found that when trying to get someone to deliver the line that you want them in the way that you want them to deliver it, the worst thing you can do is to demonstrate for them. Even if you think that you can do it perfectly. So this is something I was doing at the start, is I would say, oh no, just say it like this, and then I would say it with what I imagine to be the right intonation and the right feeling behind it, and I'd say, okay, your turn. And I always found that they didn't really change much, and I thought, why can't they just copy me? But the best way of doing it is to actually tell them indirect things. Now this is something I've heard before, but I kind of didn't really take notice of it to start with. But rather than saying, I'll just say it like this, you have to say as if you're really happy about that, say as if you're really sad about that, and then lots of other, more indirect words than just happy and sad. So you've got to, it's a really tough thing to do, but getting the feeling out of the way that they're saying it, don't demonstrate. That's my main point. So I think on any film set, preparation is the key thing, because once you're on set, it all happens very fast, and it can be very difficult to make the decisions that you need to make in terms of, the artistic decisions. So it's good to have those done beforehand, so that on set you can just focus on, here's what we're going to do. You don't want to be thinking about stuff about, oh, what should we do with the what should this line be, when you've got the actor there standing and waiting. So having a script locked down and ready before you shoot is so helpful to have. It's not totally essential, but if it's going to be a complicated script, you don't have to be spending time on set doing that. Keep your gear organised so that you know exactly where everything is. This is fairly easy to do, but you don't really want to be scrabbling around trying to find some piece of equipment. And then the other thing, again, this might be an obvious one, but don't film the whole film in order. Even within the scenes, you don't have to do it in order at all. It's all about making the schedule so that it fits your actors, so that it fits your locations, and so that it fits your lighting. And if you're trying to get everything done in daylight, then it makes sense to get the daylight stuff done at the same time and the night stuff done at the same time, for example. Kind of obvious, but just really try and organise everything beforehand, so you know what you're going to do on what day. Again, this makes it a lot easier if you can just list out exactly what shots you need to get. Now, cinema is a visual media, so that means you want to be going for as much as possible to show the audience what's happening rather than telling them what's happening. I think this is probably one of the weaknesses of my unfinished film, is that just from the script, we had quite a lot of dialogue that was maybe unnecessary and could have been portrayed in a better way. So that's something to bear in mind. You should, with every bit of dialogue, you should be thinking, is this dialogue necessary, or can we show this through an action or a face expression or an event that happens? And in the same way, with all of your shots, you should be thinking, is this essential to the story? Does this carry the story further? And if it doesn't, if it's not essential, then you really want to be cutting it, even if it's a really nice looking shot, even if it's got a really cool camera move, even if it looks really nice. If it's not carrying the story, then you have to actually cut it, because you just want to be condensing it down as much as possible so that people don't get bored. Okay, so those are some of the main things which I kind of got out of doing a short film, and I think it's something really important to do every once in a while as a filmmaker, is to make something narrative, because if you do promotional videos all the time, then you do sometimes just lose some of that focused work that goes into a short film, which I think is actually really helpful, and every time I learn tons of stuff. So, as a general update to my film, because people have been asking me about it, we haven't finished shooting it yet. We started shooting in the summer, and due to just general time constraints, we didn't manage to finish it. So then school got really busy for me and the other actors, so we haven't really done any shooting since then. I'd say we're probably about 60-70% done at a push. I've edited some of the shots and scenes, but it really does need a lot of work. So we're planning to get the film shot this summer, this Christmas, so that it'll be ready for me to then edit through the new year. But next year is pretty busy too in terms of school, the busiest yet, I suppose. And I've got 2 other paid jobs to do next year before my exams, so it's a bit busy, and at the moment I'm still not completely sure whether this film will get finished. That's one thing, but then the other thing that I've been thinking about is how I haven't actually been that happy with it. So this is something which they were talking about on Film Riot just the other week, and I found that a really interesting thing to talk about, that even the biggest filmmakers, the most successful ones, they put out something, and as soon as they're done with it, they're not happy with it. They look at things, ways that they could improve. It's this whole kind of perfectionist mentality, which actually is what fuels improvement in films. So I think, although I'm not particularly happy with the film so far, I'm already looking at the lighting and the script and thinking, oh, this, it could have been a lot better. But that's, overall, it is still better than my last film. So in that sense, it's still a improvement. And I think that might actually be all I can hope for. I don't think there's ever going to be a one film which I say, yes, I am totally happy with that. I would show that to anyone and say, this is me as a filmmaker. Because I always feel a little bit ashamed of my old films. And I think that's common, and that's fine. And it does provide a success rate, because you look at your old stuff, you see what's wrong with it, and the next time you improve that, and then that will then move down, and you get better all the time. I think that's a good way to go. But I'm a little bit unsure about whether I want to post it. But that's just how it is with films, I think. But I know for next time, make sure you got a really, really good script before you even start shooting. And I've learned a lot from it. So for me, it's been a positive experience in terms of learning, and whether or not the final piece will be entertaining to watch or not, we'll have to see. But yeah, so the film's not going to be out for a little while yet. I've still got to do all the music, which is going to take ages, and we'll see how that happens. But I would imagine it will not be out any time before March, I'd say. But yeah, so that's it for this week, and I'll see you next time.